This is your weekend market recap for Sunday, May 21st, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at HB Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your weekend market review for Sunday, May 21st, 2023. Hopefully you're having a good weekend. Summer is officially here. Memorial Day coming up, all sorts of fun stuff. Looking like the markets are doing what they typically can do in this time of year. Be choppy. We just got through OPEX. And again, earnings, there's not much coming up, but there's the Fed minutes. And you have NVDA earnings Wednesday after the close. To me, that's the big dog. What we know as of right now is the economy is slowing. Feds threw a bunch of money in to try to save the banks. Deposits are coming out. In my opinion, housing in itself is slowing. Now, again, listings are doing pretty well because we do a ton of work for them. But in general, we're seeing a lot more listings get at price, underpriced, or get below their ask. Again, I mean, I think everyone agrees that the key will be unemployment. Does AI increase unemployment? Does it also help margins? There's so many dynamics here at play. No matter what, please define your risk, have stops, be thoughtful, and know that, whatever happens, people say, well, what if you miss the market? You think it's going higher? Well, we can talk about that. And me personally, I mean, I have no rush. I have no rush to get back in. Again, market, you can trade around it however you want. Positions for the long run. Again, I'd rather wait for the breakout of new highs, because then it would be end of a bear market going much higher, or just wait, because in my opinion, this is going to be a again, we haven't even seen the hardest part of the recession and unemployment raise yet. So it feels very similar to the 70s / with the dot-com bubble / with 2008. It's a little bit of everything, because you had the biggest economic bubble in the world from free money from COVID. Keep that in mind. Like, those spigots will never refill. And so it's always going to be liquidity coming out. And again, if you watch the Fed's balance sheet, they are trying at all costs to reduce the balance sheet. So again, we want them. They want people to buy the dollar. They want people to buy bonds. We'll talk about all that, but just keep in mind, this week post OPEX, Tuesday is usually the big day. Monday can be kind of choppy. Turnaround Tuesday, keep an eye on it. But also keep in mind, the end of the month is coming as well. The last day of the month is what? Sorry, I had it right in front of me, missing it. It's next Thursday. So again, the end of this week could get a little choppy as well. On that note, new to the channel, please follow, hit the like button, subscribe. See you on Twitter. We're there posting what we think is important, what's going on. There's a lot, right? There's a lot of stuff going on, so please follow. And again, hopefully you got to check out our listing this weekend. We just got under contract this morning. Pretty busy day. New to the YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do tons of live chats. You get the notification bell and the education series. It's also on my website, thetradingagent.com. From beginner stuff to more advanced information. It is a plethora of knowledge, lots of videos, lots of articles. I think it help the average person out. And again, if you're newer to trading, I mean, it's just free content. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Feedback is also appreciated. Let's get into it. CME tool. What are the Feds expecting? I don't know why it's not refreshing quickly. Come on, daddy. Let's do this. Look at this. We're almost at 100%. You can see we're starting to move in, there's still a possibility for a rate hike next in, June 14th. It's going to be here before you know it. It's interesting how they have gaps between the July and September one, right? In September, November, but then it's December. It's one of those things where it's kind of silly how they space it out, but keep an eye on it. I mean, they have to kill inflation. I've said this forever, and I don't think that they're scared about the market ultimately falling as much as they are about killing inflation going into a presidential election cycle. Said that many times. Bitcoin, talked about head and shoulders top, beware. I mean, if you got stopped out, I make sense, but I mean, I think I'd be patient on this. Oil, talked about oil a lot. It's going to be sloppy, choppy. I mean, I think that there's higher lows to come during the recession, but at this point, I just think it's going to be trading, moving around. Natural gas, same kind of thing. People say, oh, it's breaking out. I mean, it's coming right into this trend line. We'll see. I mean, I get what people are thinking here. Like, oh, it's cheap, but I don't think it's going much higher. I mean, I think there's limited room. I said this earlier that I think the fours maybe, which again, it's a good trade if you want to take it and you define your risk and you bought in down here and you took you 2 months to chop up, that's fine. UNG 6 to 7 or whatever it's at, 740. Yeah, I mean, I just would rather have the reverse split. That's just me being me. But, do you, whatever you think is right. The dollar talked about what? It was going to break out. We talked about higher lows, building a base. Here we go. Stronger dollar. Market going to like that. Higher rates seem to be popping up again. This whole thing that inflation somehow is under control. Interest rates are acting like such. This is going to have an effect on tech. Just keep that in mind. Higher interest rates for longer. Tech again. Inputs more expensive. Borrow money again. Tech loves cheap, easy money. They're not getting that anymore. Banks, again, credit's tightening up. There's all these things where it's just like, how irrational does the market need to be? I don't know. It just continues to be. But it just kind of is what it is at this point. We took out the range lows. We said it was a very binary trade. If you watch the previous recaps midweek, said if it holds here, cool. If it's not, watch out. Because now looks like you can come back into the 99, 98 area. I'll draw the next level support. Cat is chirping in my ear. What's up, girl? Yeah, keep an eye on it. Again, I'm under the assumption that ultimately rates are going to be hard to predict. When people are like hard to predict, that's not what you do. And it's like, well, yeah, the bond market is smart. Why can't this thing open up and move? The bond market is incredibly smart, but the problem is right now is that you've got a multitude of dynamics at work, right? Debt ceiling, too much debt, inflation, scared market. People are buying. I mean, people are getting pretty comfortable with higher yield bonds. And remember, that takes competition money from the stock market. Again, say it with every recap, watch the volatility in the dollar and bonds. If they stay in these ranges, it's not that big a deal. The VIX, what a gift. I mean, I can't believe this thing is still holding out in the 16s, but for each his own. Watch the VIX. We've talked about it. Needs to break the 101 area. Posted this trend line on Thursday. Hit it. Got up pretty good. Feels like it's just buying time. SPY. Again, I'm amazed how dumb people are, but just again at the highs they get super bullish. I mean, I love hearing all the junk, but here you go. Gap fill, maybe that's where it needs to get. Now people said, oh, you didn't think it'd get to 420. Well, I mean, again, is it a breakout or a retest? And that's the thing we talked about up here. Like 420, it's not as much about the number as the action. Well, we're up here. We're wrong. Today's action, Friday's action, a little selling. OPEX, higher volume. Again, this is tough to know, what is the right amount? Because bear market rallies, because this is the thing. People are starting to, somehow purposely manipulate people to believe, hey, everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's okay. It's going to be fine. And again, the market's really good at discounting the future, but it's really good at trapping people. QQQ coming into resistance, same kind of thing. It looks strong. I mean, it's hard to admit, but it feels very bubblish when you think about some of these companies are trading at ludicrous number times, sales, PEs. Now, again, people say, well, again, you're not a fundamentalist. No, I'm not. But I also do recognize value. And when I mean value is that at some point, a stock price is in perfection and it doesn't have much upside. We talked about this when Tesla was in 1,000 or whatever. You're pricing in them taking over the world. They better do it. If they don't, guess what? It comes back. And it's funny about the Qs, it's only a few names. Again, we'll go through the evidence, but you know what I mean. IWM, lagging, especially you know what I mean if you're following. Look at this move in the IWM. Again, it's just range bound. You think the IWM, small cap, small companies, small businesses would be leading. Way down here. DIA, again, Disney, some of these names have had some issues with it. It's not following through. It's just mainly the Qs. Gold, not surprised it bounced on Friday. Right? Debt ceiling stuff. I mean, again, I'm waiting for the Feds to pivot. It's going to be volatile. Silver, we talked about it lagging. Double top. Oversold bounce. Are you surprised? GDXJ. Sorry, we'll just go G. Talk about how the junior miners lead. Look at them lagging. Lower highs and then lows. Now, again, it's not going to always be a straight line move, but look at the GDX, right? GDX, what? Did double topper? GDXJ did lower high. Not good for the miners. Now, again, seasonality. I've said this. People got really mad when I talked about this, but I don't care. AG holding. what? I've said this many times. I want to see a 5 handle, something like low 5s, maybe 4. AEM talked about this bull trap coming back. Just let these names come in. Newmont, we talked about this one lagging for months. I mean, you would think it'd be up in the 50s, couldn't do it. Now it's back near like the March lows. Like, disgusting. Disgusting. That is not good. I mean, it's supposed to be one of the companies leading, right? If anything, it looks like it gap. Hold on. Yeah, it gap below its trend line. Now, keep in mind, gap below trend line sometimes can be traps, but it also can be confirmation. So, I mean, people are like, oh, that's really confusing. Well, think about it. Like, this could be an epic trap to rally back, then fail, or it's a gap and go. So now you watch the multi-day ranges, right? Like, you don't want to see it get over 44. You don't want to see it get under 43s if you're, bullish. So, pass, double top, flop. Double top, flop. All right, tech. This is where it gets interesting. Like AMD. Now, I had alarms at 103. It seems that we've gone higher. Now, are you surprised? Are you surprised that we're up into the zone? Again, my computer didn't restart. I didn't restart. I had an electrical storm and it backup battery did not do its job. Again, I always forget to save stuff. DM me if you're the same way. It's relentless. Here we are, back into the upside target zone. Straight line moves, proceed what? Pullbacks. Feels like it. I mean, everyone's getting stupid on semis, and it's like, what planet are you guys on? Micron breaking out. When we talked about this, like if you zoom out, and again, all my levels didn't save. Let me just draw it. Again, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. Watch the zone. I mean, you can save in here, just engulf it. Like, watch this area in here. Are you surprised it's the next VAP zone, right? Like, zoom out. Like, do you think we're really going to get over 70? I don't know. It feels very bull trappish. Just like at the lows, you kind of gap down and then it went chop to flop. They're chop to pop. Gap down a couple days, then you relay. This is what's so hard about the straight line moves. It's like, again, bulls are going, oh, it's going to the moon. Bears are just giving up. Does that make sense? What's going on here? So, in my opinion, I don't think these names have much sustained upside. It's just is what it is. Taiwan said we talked about this one. If this rallies, come on, save it. Talk about if it rallied up into this 90s. It's a gift. Well, there it is. Keep an eye on it. NVIDIA up into earnings again. You got to be scared running up into earnings. Maybe it pulls back sideways for a couple days, but I mean, this thing has been on fire. I mean, you're this close, right? What are you gonna do? Do you want to short it beforehand? Again, someone talked about buying puts on Friday. The IV will increase, so you might even make money on the puts if it just goes sideways, but know your positions well. Be thoughtful. We can get into it as we get closer. Intel, talked about this lagging. Donkey poo. SMH tries to break out, right? Oh, man, nothing saved. Blech. Could we get to the channel high? I mean, a lot of people saying invalidated head and shoulders. I see it. I seen it. Samson. But I also see the VAP zone here. Resistance. Like, are we really going to break through it on the first touch? I mean, this is where all the inventory fight begins, right? Like, because those old highs, it's just a little mountaintop, right? This is where the rubber meets the road. Remember, it got split, so some of this stuff is like doesn't look correct, but I would be watching the hell out of this 133 area, 136. I feel like it's a bull trap, but again, I've been wrong before. Define your risk, know what you're doing. Shit happens. You can be wrong. Adobe, we talked about this lagging, M top, and then 4 days. I mean, that's, man, if you traded these, congrats. I mean, again, I'm not a hater if I'm wrong. I just don't, I can't do everything. Apple, interesting, open, close. We talked about this area. Yeah, come on. All gaps, filling. All gaps, filling. We're there. I mean, Apple trading at premiums. I mean, it's just getting stupid. I mean, it's just getting dumb. I mean, I know people say, well, Apple's like Apple this. I was like, you don't understand. Like, even every leader becomes a laggard at some point. And it's like, there's points where people believed IBM would go up forever. There's periods where they thought you name the stock would go up forever. Doesn't work like that. Amazon. Talked about it. What? Gosh, nothing saved. 0.618 potentially if it broke over. Now again, it's trading at insane multiples again, but coming off the lows. I mean, these are the thing you have to like understand. Like in a bear market, it's a trader's market, up and down, and this is where it gets so hard. If you've been bearish and you've missed things, well, guess what? That happens. And if you're right, you feel like a genius. But here's the bottom line to it is that you're going to get the emotional roller coaster in this market. So that's why it's just a struggle, right? Just keep that in mind. Like you don't, what's the best way to describe it? Like you don't know until it starts. And it's like, this just feels all like big consolidation patterns for the last 6 months. Keep that in mind. CRM said, hey, it needs to hold the 200s, broke out. Interesting again, the whole Q complex, like a lot of the tech names. And again, we follow the leaders, so they're leading, but keep in mind like a lot of these names where they came from. Are you surprised Guggenheim hit this upside target zone? Again, backing off. I mean, AI is the future, right? Well, we already know that. Like, don't pretend like it's not. And so when you look at it, you go, okay, keep an eye on it. Like, that's been a pretty hefty move. 105 to 127. That's a huge move, market cap wise. That's hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap. Meta, talked about like the gap and trap top. All right, keep an eye on it. Again, someone keeps saying 250. Well, now it's okay. 250 seems pretty reasonable. Is it really gonna? And here's where the rubber meets the road, right? Like, zoom out. Like, do you really think we're gonna break out over this? I mean, they're gonna lay off more people next week. Company's a mess. People keep saying they're monetized. Like, no, they're not Twitter. They're not growing. Everybody hates Zuckerberg. And people say, well, everyone hates Elon. Well, okay, well, maybe we can argue that. No one can argue that, but it's like this company, and again, it's like oversold, rallies, bear market, watch the resistance zones. Can it really go much higher? It's hard to say. I would say negative. But when I zoom out, it makes sense. Like, you go look at the monthly, like, you think it's really going to be able to snap over this area so easily? Right? I don't know how we're going to drive it, but we'll see. I mean, it snapped through this one, but look at this. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at all these months. That's not normal. That is not normal. I'm sorry. Like, that's not healthy up and down. You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's not healthy. All right, let's start moving faster. Microsoft, talked about it, rallying up and holding up. Everyone loves Microsoft. Kind of gross at this point. All gaps have been filled. Well, I guess there's one more at 329. Ay caramba. I mean, I'm amazed people are hiding in these names, but I'm not also too. Like, people just, follow the leaders, sell the laggers. Like, that's the mindset. NDAQ, we talked about all the composites junk, right? Here you go. Here's the MicroStrategy. Just stuck with this. Netflix now. Netflix got pretty wild. And again, people don't realize there's like a 9 sigma move on Thursday in tech. That was like a big move, that potential blow off. Look where it's retesting. I mean, if you got reference points, right? Keep an eye on it. I mean, just saying. Roblox, it's been all over the place, but it bounced with tech. But then Friday down $2. Tough to know. Like Tesla, not surprised it's rallied. I mean, the whole idea that, everybody's just talking about future electric. It's like, okay, it's in this chop channel. It's not leading by any means. And so maybe near the end, remember we talked about the trash floats last? Well, Netflix is trash to me. Tesla is trash. Like Google's trash. I'm sorry. These aren't making new 52-week highs. It's like Meta. Like people are just piling into these trash names. And people say, you can't call tech trash. I'm like, yeah, they are trash. Decelerated earnings. You're paying more for decelerating earnings. That's trash. Right? There's no sustaining. Like, Tesla is not going to be making more money next year. Right? They can ramp up their production, but so is every other car company. Competition. Prices are coming down. Go look at used car prices. Look at car prices in general. Coming down. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. Again, it's just, when will the market care? X. Here you go. 20-day. Talked about like these industrial metals, all this stuff lagging. Nucor, same thing. Lagging. Held some ranges, but whatever. Caterpillar, we talked about if you want to wait for it to pop. There was your pop. It said the 50 200 day. You're welcome. Anyone take it? Let me know if you did. VALE. Lagging. Trash. Arrow. Dropped on earnings. Popped. Chopping around. Filled the gap. Fail. That would be my guess. Again, I like to show people some of the other ones. Talk about SACO, Southern Copper. Look at these copper names. They don't look good. Dr. Copper. Freeport's like such a mixed bag, but range lows, not looking good. CCJ, people thought this was going up into the 30s. I'm like, I think it's about to roll over. Doesn't look that good. CF, again, I like ag names. I just don't. I know they're up in their buyback. Again, all these companies, I think they're going to do well. I just think they're going to be in this holding pattern where, yes, you probably can trade around them, but I just don't know if it's worth the juice, hanging on to them. Chopping, Mosaic, NTR, same thing. Again, we think NTR short-term capitulated, so it could bounce a little more, but at this point, 20-day, if you bought it at 60, 5 points, that's what you want, not bad. AA, 20-day, same thing. Like, these all look just lagging. XLF, now we talked about XLF bouncing. It's in a weird spot, right? It's in a weird spot. Like, I might as well expand this out. 3350s, 3250s, bounced over the 20-day. Personally, no man's land, but just watch the action. I feel like these are short. I'm like, if JP Morgan mid 140s, you short it. Morgan Stanley, this thing was lagging hard on. I think their CEO's leaving. Looks bad. Goldman, I think Goldman will survive. They're gonna do okay, but just chopping. The KRE, which has been all over the place. People are saying like 80% short interest. I'm like, that's not that high in the sense of like what it could be at certain points with these like ETFs when they really do get heavily short, especially financials, because people expect them to blow out. That's why we say don't short the lows. We talk about potentially capitulation and rally. My levels didn't raise support again. What do you think? Somewhere in this area, maybe 50-day. 41's possible. Huge bounce. XBI, we've talked about this one kind of leading up off the lows. Again, why you don't short things near the lows. Looking a little tired. Solar, a lot of flack, man. Even Stock Twits gave me a freaking ban because I said solar is gonna have problems. I don't know why that's illegal to say on Stock Twits. Somebody just hits the report button because they don't like what I'm saying. Yeah, 20-day on tan looks no good. We talked about ENPH. Be careful with this one because it's been slammed, but it looks dead. Sedge talked about anytime it gets up to like 310, 309 plus, whatever, short it. It seems to be doing well. First Solar, again, we talked about if you took your profits with their earnings stuff, look what it hit, the channel high, and we said it's a gift. A gift. Coming on down. HYG, we talked about corporate debt lagging. That's a big problem, right? Not looking good, y'all. Not looking good. Let's end it with oil and gas. Oil, we talked about chopping. Nat gas, again, you can't even chart the UNG. It's such a joke at this point. XOP, we can, though. We talked about holding the mid-1 teens right there, 50-day. Again, this stuff doesn't look that good, right? Like, economy's great. Oil and gas demand, wrong. ExxonMobil, if you shorted this in the 115 plus at the monthly trend line, talked about if you wanted to add, probably going to get to the 200-day. Here you go. Maybe it's the gap. Again, if you're short at the highs, you know what to do. PX Dizzle rallied on Friday. Not surprised me. It's been beaten up some. Oxy, I think Buffett's buying the whole company. He's going to try to buy it for $40 a share probably. But, this thing's been lagging, right? EQT, this one started popping with natural gas. Not surprised. Hits the 200-day. That's a pretty solid move. 28, 37. Yeah, solid. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls back now. Flex LNG, we talked about. This is one I like for the long term on a pullback. It's short-term capitulation. I think we're going to be a nat gas exporter supplier. But anyway, keep an eye on it. Again, if you have any questions about the markets, please reach out. Real estate, everything. Again, we just got our client 10% over ask by busting our butt on a listing, and that's what we do. We don't half-ass anything, and people know they know I care. They know that, again, the team that I work for, that I lead, that's what we do. And again, it's real estate's not hard. It's getting the most amount of people, creating buzz, getting people to think that this property is one of a kind, getting people to buy something because of the nostalgia of which you can create through the presence of the marketing, the pictures, photos, whatever, staging, however you need to do to get the house. And every house is unique. So if you have any questions, again, please reach out, because if you're not dealing with a good agent, it's like, why would you go to like a doctor that's not good? Why would you go to a lawyer if you had a ticket or you have some, like me, like this is remedial. And people say, well, real estate agents don't do anything. If that's what you believe, then you haven't worked with a good real estate agent, because I'm telling you, they make magic happen. It's the same thing as like a great attorney making something disappear. Great doctor helps you get the diagnosis to fix yourself, right? Great anything. Again, you pay, it's like, oh, well, I only pay 5% for my listing. And it's like, well, we typically charge 6. Well, that 1% will netted another 10% for our clients. That's the difference. And real estate, I always tell you, like, agents don't make a ton of money. Again, high luxury stuff, yeah, they make stuff, but the average house, after you pay a third to the government, you pay your broker 20%, you're left with half. And whatever that number is, say you have a split with your team. Again, there's a lot of hard work. You got to love it, and that's why most agents don't. It's always ironic when I talk with some agents say, like, I hate people. Like, I love people. I love bringing creativity to all situations to try to be successful. So if you have any questions, again, sorry to rant on real estate, hit me up. And yeah, if questions on the market, please don't hesitate. Talk to you soon. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.